Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to look at SquareForge once again, and I've got a couple of new layout designs that I want to build into our master template. If you don't know about SquareForge, this is our Squarespace template builder. It's got over 300 unique layouts that you build together like a Lego set into your designs. So if you want something a little bit different that stands out from the standard Squarespace templates, this is a great solution for you. And if you buy the full license for this, you can use this commercially on any other website, which also means that you can build your own template. So for the professional designers out there, think of this as a quick construction kit so you can build your own unique templates and resell them on your store. But anyway, that's enough of an introduction about SquareForge. What I'm going to do now is show you the layout that we're going to build in this mini workshop, and it's this section here. So we're going to create a simple 3-column signpost. We've got designs a bit like this already in SquareForge, so I'm going to take one and adapt it. We've also got some effects on this, like we've got the grain effect, which works for our design. I'm probably not going to put that into this particular design, but we can also see we've got a outer glow on each of these blocks. And the way this is constructed is we've got an image with a border radius. We've got a shape with a radius again, and I'll show you how to do that. The shape then already has a drop shadow to create that glow effect. Then we've added text blocks over top of each of them. We've then applied a effect to that image, and then we check it on mobile, and we can test that as well then to make sure it's all working. This is on Pixel Haze Academy, and I wanted something that stands out really nicely, and I'm utilizing the new anchor point feature that's been added to Squarespace finally this year. So if I was to jump down to the Designer Power Pack, we've got the anchor link that takes us down to that page. So I wanted that really nice, sleek 3-column signpost, and to show that we can create advanced layouts like this in Squarespace with relatively little extra work. So if you want to have a go at purchasing SquareForge, of course, it's available for $297 as a one-off purchase. Alternatively, you can just go on to SquareForge, the main site, squareforge.net, and just mimic the layouts. I'm more than happy for you to take the concepts from this and build them yourself. But if you want to save a bit of time, SquareForge has got all of this under the hood. So now I've got to find the layout that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for content. Sometimes this happens with Squarespace that it will confuse the drop downs, and this is something, a little bug in Squarespace I've seen happen recently, because all of this should be in the not linked section. I don't know why it's been moved out of it. It's certainly not something I've done. So I'm just going to do a bit of housekeeping there and bring those off the menu system. There we are, that's better. So I believe the page that we want to add this layout to is in the content section. No, actually, we want to go signposts, obviously, for this one. I've got another idea for a new layout that I'm going to add to the pricing tables as well. But for now, let's go for signpost 3-column classic. And we've already got some designs here. So I'm probably not going to start from scratch. I'm just going to grab one of these. And we can see similar designs here. So if we go back to it, we can see that's got a similar flow, which is something that we may actually just take this one and adapt it. So I'll talk you through how we build it. No, actually, scratch that. I'll build it from the ground up. The important thing is I add it to the bottom, because what we're doing is building suggested templates, like template kits or boilerplates. We've decided on Pixel Haze blueprints for SquareForge, and each of these then will have a unique number. We're going to be providing toolkits for those who purchase SquareForge or joining our coaching community, where we'll actually help you get the most from this tool. And what we're going to do is basically give you a shortcut list of these different layouts that you can assemble together when you're building a new site to save you an awful lot of time. So I need to make sure I'm adding the next layout to the bottom so we don't confuse the blueprints that have already been created. So I'm going to click Edit. And what I will do, though, is copy and paste some of this content here. So Custom Solutions is the one I'm going to copy first. And then we're going to add a new section. There we go. We're going to add a blank section. And now we've got that section added, we're going to add a block. So to start off with, let's have a switch over to the other tab. We need a shape and we need an image. So let's start with that. So let's go to shape. And I think what I'm going to do is keep it on a white background. Let's make that a little bit longer. What I'm going to do is actually build one of these first. I'm just checking I've got the right width first, so I'm going to drag that in. We can see now where we need to make these slightly wider, just so we got the spacing. And probably what I'm going to do now is go to Edit Section And then I'm going to adjust the gaps so they're more in line with this one. So we're going to probably click on these three dots and then take the gaps horizontally right up to 50, maybe bring it back to 40. There we go. Now, the great thing with this feature since Fluid Engine is that this is specific to the section that we're working in. And that's really important because it means we're not throwing out any of the other layouts on the page. Okay, I'm going to leave the height as it is for now. We'll only change that if we need to. And now we're going to go back again. And we're going to see if there's a introduction. Our services, perfect. And we're going to take a sentence from that. And let's bring these three down. Add another text block. 3. I put it in the wrong section. That was my bad. You see there's a little bit of a problem here. So I'm just going to move this section up temporarily and then I'm going to move it back down. This is because we've added this auto divider between the sections. If I show you here, and then we've added this tag. And what it's done is it's just moved the Squarespace options out of the way. But the version that you get of Squarespace won't have these in. So it means then that it'll be much easier for you to add blocks. I need to fix that so they align and I'm not running into this problem each time. It's fair to say, ignore it. It's something that won't happen on your version of Squarespace. Okay, let's add our services. That's in. And now let's add, we'll just copy this introductory sentence. Of course, you're going to be swapping this out for your own content. And you might even decide that you don't want a text introduction, but I want it to match the version that we've got. So that's why I'm adding it. Okay, so we've got our 3 cards. We've got our introductory sentence. And now I'm just going to remove these 2 cards because what I want to do is fix it in mobile before we replicate the card options. Copy that ready to go. And now let's add another block for image. And I'm going to bring it down one more. So that's the kind of ratio we're going to go with. And this is on a narrower layout by the looks of it. But it doesn't matter because the whole point of this is we build it once and it's adaptable then. So that's the height of the card I'm going to go for. So just short title. And let's add title in. Another text block. Okay, we can see it's centrally aligned. We want to align it to the left. And heading 3 or 4, we're going to go with heading 4. And then we're going to put text sentence below. This will be much shorter than this signposting block, for example. So we're just going to copy that. Try that again.
Squarespace block. It's a real thing. You have to leave in an hour, yet you're staring at a blank screen. The deadline will come and go once again. Coffee just isn't making a dent. You feel boxed in and out of ideas. We adore Squarespace and have successfully completed over 500 projects with the website builder. Yet we are not immune to the dreaded Squarespace block, staring at the screen, hoping for something to magically materialize. We have scoured the internet for the ideal wireframing tool and have come up empty. We adored the Squarespace section designs in the early days, but after hundreds of uses, they became stale. If I see that bloody landscape one more time. We've searched for, built, and even designed our own Squarespace templates, yet found them inflexible, restricting our design process. Instead of heading down the road to despair, we decided to course correct and build the mother of all Squarespace templates, a platform we could use over and over again, one that boosted creativity and saved us a huge amount of time. In our moment of despair, we forged SquareForge. If you need to freshen up your designs, save a heap of time, and, like us, don't want to move away from your favorite website builder, then we have built something that breaks the mold. And we know we have something amazing. And it's not because we're amazing, we're pretty boring. We know we have an incredible tool in our hands because we have used it over 50 times this year alone. We have built SquareForge from the ground up, pouring in over 20 years of web design expertise into a product that would work for us. We didn't even plan on selling it. SquareForge has saved us over 40% of our build time and ensures no website looks the same. It's time to say goodbye to Squarespace Block and hello to SquareForge. Let's build great big things.
Copy that and paste it in here. full stop. Okay. The final step then is I could either make this a link. So what I can do now is go to the link option here and then just put /. So it will just basically link to the homepage of the site. Okay. So we've got the arrow there. So I could just copy this, and it's not being a pain, and just paste this. So this is basically a standard HTML icon. So it's compatible with all browsers. So we can just use that inclusive within it. The only thing I need to do now is just remove that link and then re-add that link. There we go. That should all be going to the same place now. Most of this card's in place. Let's add one of our images. We'll go with dark grey. And now we're going to edit that image block. We're going to go to design and get it to fill. So it will fill out to the edge of the frame. And now we've got a square version of this signpost. But let's add some finishing touches. So we're going to double click on it again. Now we're going to go to the image first and then go to design. And we can go corner radius. We want to edit all corners, so we'll leave this toggle active. And let's go with 30. Okay, that's a 30 pixel radius on that one. And now let's go for 30 on the one below. Okay, we've very easily created that lozenge shape. Now we're going to select the shape behind, double click it, and we're going to add a drop shadow. Maybe edit the distance. And we can see a very faint drop shadow around that block there. We can, of course, play with that a little bit. We can also maybe look at adding a very faint stroke. If we wanted a border around our shape. Let's make it so it's not quite as bold, and then we can make it 1 pixel. So I want a really faint line around it, so it gives it an edge, but it isn't too strong. The other option is I could go darker with the drop shadow. Oops, wrong option. So we can start with the darkest and then manually adjust the opacity of it to get it just so. The other thing as well is I'd like just to change the angle. So you can see more of it below. I'm okay with that for now. I think that's a good finish. I might come back in and tweak it on the actual version of SquareForge, but let's go with that. In fact, let's change it to 90%. Yeah, that's a better balance. We've got kind of that halo around all of it now. You can tell once I start noodling, getting myself to stop is often the biggest challenge. There we go. Slightly stronger option there with the border, but I'm actually quite happy with that. So now we've got our text in place, which will allow up to 3 sentences in the description. We've got the title, which is a link. We've got our image, of course, which we can overlay it. Now, I'm probably going to leave it like that because I could put in the tag an extra title above, and that would just be a case of adding a text block and positioning it just so. But I'm going to leave it like this because I quite like the clarity of this design. Before I go and replicate these and change the content in the other 2 signposts, I'm going to go to mobile view, and we can see we've got a bit of organization to do here. So I'm going to make this block much deeper to start with, then drag the image over top of it, making sure that's at the front, and then bring this text block in, bring this shape block down a couple to give it more space, and there we are. So not a huge amount of editing to do on mobile, but then if I hadn't done it at this stage, I would end up having to, and I'd replicated these first, I'd have ended up having to make those changes on all 3, and that just takes longer. I don't want to do that. So we're going to duplicate that once, duplicate it twice, switch back to mobile view now and see how that's looking. So Squarespace Mobile View used to be much simpler. We wouldn't have had to do any of this because it would have done all the organization for us. The downside for that, I'm just getting one block in between each of the 3 signposts, so they're nice and uniform. The one problem with that is we had very limited customization. So now we've got more customization. It just takes us a little bit longer on mobile view. Final step now is just a case of changing these blocks. And that's why I've gone with tools like the workshops and webinars one, because it's going to be longer. So we have to work out how this is all going to fit. So move it back to the left line. And actually, do you know what? I'm just going to retype it in. Okay. So I got away with that one. It's just fitting there. But if it was dropping down and you had longer titles, you've got a choice of either shortening them or just lengthening all of these blocks to match. Now we're just going to take the first part of the first sentence. This is just placeholder content anyway. And what was the third one? Tools and resources. You can tell that this placeholder content was written by ChatGPT because we got phrases like dive into, which I'm getting quite tired of now. It's been definitely overused. So, okay, that is our final layout. Let's switch over to mobile view. And that's looking quite nicely. Quite nicely? That's looking quite nice. Okay. You can see my brain's not functioning today, so hopefully you've stuck with it as we've worked through this layout. But that's 3 nice signposts with a drop shadow effect. And one thing I've got to do now is make sure I put it back to the bottom so we don't mess up the numbering ordering on these layouts. But there we go. Save at this stage. I really should have saved it more frequently through the process, and I strongly recommend that you do that because otherwise you could end up losing a lot of work. Always remember that if you're going to build these for yourself, check on mobile regularly because it will save you a lot of time in the long run. But I'm quite happy with that. Want to see what you think? Don't forget to check out squareforge.net. Every single layout that I'm building here will be available on squareforge.net, so I've got to port this one across later today, and you'll see it on there, plus all of the other designs that we're building at the moment. But hope you've enjoyed this. We have a free community on Skool, that's SKOOL, where we support people through the live message boards to help them get the most out of tools like SquareForge and other areas of Squarespace as well. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.